driving home from my friend's house, a 2-hour trip through the countryside. I should have left earlier, but we lost track of time. By the time I pulled onto the highway, the world outside was nothing but darkness. The road ahead lit only by my headlights. I wasn't nervous at first. I had made this drive a dozen times, but something felt off. The road stretched endlessly, twisting through thick forests on either side. My GPS told me to keep going straight, but the more I drove, the more I felt like I was going in circles. Then I saw it. A car, parked on the shoulder ahead, hazard lights flashing. It was an old sedan, black, barely visible against the night. As I slowed down, I saw a woman standing beside it, her silhouette illuminated by my high beams. She wore a pale dress, her long dark hair hanging over her shoulders. She didn't wave, didn't move, just stood there, facing me. I had two choices: stop and help, or keep driving. Something in my gut screamed at me to keep going. Maybe it was the way she stood so still, or how her face was turned away from my lights, as if she didn't want me to see it. I pressed the gas and drove past. In my rearview mirror, I saw her turn, slowly, watching me. A chill crawled up my spine. I shook it off. I had done the right thing, I told myself. It wasn't safe to stop in the middle of nowhere for a stranger. 5 minutes later, my headlights caught something ahead. Another car. No, the same car. Black sedan, hazard lights blinking, and beside it, the woman. She stood in the exact same position, head turned away. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I knew I had driven past her. There was no way I had looped back. I hadn't taken any turns. I sped up. I didn't care if she needed help. Something was wrong. My heart pounded as I watched the road, my foot pressing harder on the gas. I just needed to get to the next town. But when I glanced in the mirror, she was in the back seat. I screamed and swerved. The car fishtailed, tires screeching. My headlights flashed through the trees before I slammed on the brakes, stopping just inches from a ditch. Panting, I turned around. The back seat was empty. My breathing was ragged, my pulse thundering in my ears. I was seeing things. Had to be. I rubbed my eyes, trying to steady my nerves. I had to keep driving. I put the car back in gear, eased onto the road, and tried not to look in the mirror again. 15 minutes passed. The road was silent, the trees pressing in on both sides. My fingers twitched over the radio dial, but I didn't dare break the silence. Then I saw something move in my peripheral vision. Not on the road, not in the trees, inside the car. The air turned ice cold. My breath fogged in front of me. I felt it before I saw it. Something behind me, the weight in the air, the presence. I didn't want to look, but I had to. Slowly, I glanced at the mirror. A face stared back. Not a woman. Not human. Its skin was gray and stretched too tight over its skull. Its eyes were sunken, black pits, hollow and endless. And its mouth, God, its mouth was too wide, too open, lips cracked and torn, teeth like needles. It was grinning. I slammed my foot on the gas, heart hammering. The car roared forward, tires skidding on the pavement. My vision blurred, my hands shaking on the wheel. The thing in the mirror didn't move, just kept staring. Then it whispered, not out loud, not in my ears, in my head, "You shouldn't have left her." A sob choked out of me. I didn't understand. I didn't want to. The road blurred past, trees melting into a black tunnel. My breath came in ragged gasps. I gripped the wheel so hard my fingers went numb. I couldn't stop. I wouldn't stop. Then my headlights caught something up ahead. A black sedan. No. Hazard lights flashing. The woman, standing, waiting. I screamed as I swerved, trying to avoid her. My tires hit gravel. The car skidded, spinning. I lost control. The world flipped. Glass shattered. Metal crunched. My body slammed against the seatbelt as the car rolled, the sky and ground switching places over and over. Then silence. For a moment I didn't move. Couldn't. Pain pulsed through me. Blood dripped down my face. The car was upside down, my head inches from the crushed roof. Then I heard it. A soft, slow tapping from outside the driver's window. With a trembling breath, I turned my head. She was there bent over, looking in. Her long dark hair hung limp, her pale dress torn and dirty. But it was her face that made my stomach drop. Her skin was too pale, her eyes black pits, her mouth too wide. She grinned and whispered, "You should have stopped." The glass shattered. Darkness swallowed me whole.